Hello, this is Gordon Inman, your instructor. And so what I'm going to do today is quickly show you how you can accept an assignment invitation and clone it to your computer, work on the project, and then sync it back up into GitHub. And this is how you would work with all the projects within this CIS133DA course. So the first thing is in your lesson. So the first time you'll experience this is in lesson 3. You'll see a lesson 3 project invitation link. And when you click that, you'll be taken to this page, which is where you'll accept the assignment. And this is an important process because it will create a repo for you on GitHub, as well as provide you any starting files that you will need in order to complete your project, including the project directions. And so I'll go ahead and accept this assignment. It'll take a little bit of time for it to work, but once it's done, you'll see that there is a link to the GitHub repository. And so I could click that and it'll take me to my repo for this assignment. And so by default, you'll see here a list of files. You could ignore the .github folder. That's just something that's required for GitHub to kind of function. So just ignore it. And then the other ones in here are .md files. Those are markdown files. And so those are basically just kind of fancy text files. And so the README files will always have the project directions. And so if you wanted to read this other one, you could click on it and you'll be able to read the content in there. But by default, GitHub will show you the project README file. And so these are the steps that you'll need to take in order to complete this assignment. So what we want to do now is clone the repo to the local computer. To do that, you can click on the code button, and under the HTTPS tab, there's a URL there. So hit the copy URL to clipboard button, and now it's in your clipboard, and we'll use that inside of VS Code. So let's switch over to VS Code. And so right now, my VS Code doesn't have any other folders open or anything like that. And so what I want to do is hit the F1 key on my keyboard, and this will open up the command prompt line. And so this very first one, I've used it before, so it appears at the top, git clone. That's the one we want. But if it's not showing at the top, you just start typing git and then clone, and then it should narrow down the list of possibilities, and then you'll just need to select the appropriate one. So I'll click on this, and then I want to clone from GitHub. And then this is when we'll paste in the URL that we just copied from GitHub, and then it'll list, okay, this the one I found, and so I'll click that, and now it'll open up my local storage window. So this is where I'll navigate to a location on my computer where I'll be storing my project files. And so if you have a course folder, you'll want to store it in there and navigate to that. And so in this case, I'm just going to navigate to my desktop because I have a folder for this course. And then I'll select this as the repository destination. And it will go through the process. Oh, uh, and once it's done cloning, it'll ask you, would you like to open up the cloned repository? You can either open it into the same window or open in a new window. In this case, I'm just going to open it. And so uh, I'm going to check this box of trust the authors in the project folder that I set up for this course. That way I don't necessarily see this message again, but then I'll select yes, I trust the authors. And so you'll see under the Explorer pane here, this little pane may be on your left-hand side. I have modified my view a little bit, but so this Explorer pane will show you the files. These will be the exact same thing that you see inside of GitHub here. And so you can right-click on the README file and do Open Preview. And this will show you exactly the same thing that you were seeing inside of GitHub. And so you'll be able to read the project directions right here inside of VS Code. And so one of the first things that this particular assignment will ask you to do is create a HTML file. And so what you could do is either go to File, New File, or you can right click inside this Explorer pane and click on New File and just name it something as per the directions. And then you'll start to code. And so in this case, I'll need to do the doc type and then add the head information and then also the body, as well as closing the HTML. And so you'll have to go through this process of adding your code to your file and then just following these project instructions. And you can use this split view mode if you wanted to. This way you could have the preview, your project directions here, and then have your HTML file here so you could read and work at the same time. And then so you'll go through the process of following all these steps. And so right now I'm going to show you how to do a commit. The first thing you need to do is save your file. So right now you can see that there's like a little dot right there that indicates that there's changes that haven't been saved yet. So you hit save, that dot goes away, but the file name is in red in this case. And so that indicates that um, there, actually ignore that. Let's just move on. And so um, the the way you do a commit is okay. So uh, the way you do a commit is under this source control icon. You'll see that there is a 1 there. That means there was one file that's been saved and that a commit needs to be created. And so you click that and you'll see that the template file is listed here. What we'll want to do is hit the plus sign, and this is called staging the change. And it's just a process in terms of Git. So you're saying this is the file that I want to record in this commit, because in a big project you may have a lot of different files, and so you may only want to do commits for certain files at a time. And so staging the file will help you be specific in terms of which files you want the commit to apply to. And then we'll just uh, create a message here. So started the file. This message could be anything. It, it's good to have it be descriptive. That way you understand what that commit will include. And then you hit the commit. And it'll do its thing. Oh, 1 second. And so now it has applied that commit, and then what you could do is sync the changes, and then this will upload those files. It'll do a push-pull command, and so it'll push any changes that you have on your local computer up to GitHub. And if there are any changes on GitHub that you need to include on your local computer, then it'll pull those down. So I'll just go ahead and hit OK. And dun, 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 once it's done, we can come here to our repo, hit refresh, and we now see that template file, and we see that message for our commit here, started the file. And so as we add more commits to this, we'll get different messages here, but that's how you would continue and submit your project. And so once you're done following all the project directions, you can come up here and copy the URL to the repo, and this is what you'll want to submit to me within the lesson through this link here. The lesson 3 project is where you'll submit that URL for grading. And so that is the overall process that you would do in order to complete your assignments. You'll accept the invitation link, you'll clone the repo to your local computer in VS Code, and then in VS Code, you'll read the project directions and follow them and complete those steps. You'll need to save your files and create those commit messages and sync your files. And once you're done with your project, you'll need to submit the URL via your lesson. So if you have any other questions, just let me know and send me a message in the message center. Thank you.